Welcome back, City Builders. Kodiak the Kodiak here. Today's video, we're just going to dive straight on in, so no intro. Just do the like, comment, subscribe thing on the front here, and we'll just dive on into the news because the Bridges and Ports DLC has now been delayed. So this is the post right here on the Paradox forums, and we'll dive on through and read it together, and I'll provide my commentary that I have on it. Hello, City Skylines players. Since the release of the Detailers patch, we've spent the last 5 months working hard on the Bridges and Ports DLC and towards our upcoming expected release. After reviewing the content ourselves and sharing it with our early access group, which are people like myself, as well as other video content creators, as well as asset makers and modders, we've received consistent feedback. The bridges are super exciting, the ports work well, but there are some aspects of the expansion that are not as polished as they could be. That left us with a difficult choice: delay the release once again to add more depth, or release it as is, knowing players might feel it falls short. We believe the current content is enjoyable, but we're not blind to what's missing, and to bring it to the level you deserve, we need more time. The free update that was intended to come alongside Bridges and Ports will release on June 11th, with a bit of content that gives a slight sneak peek as to what's to come with the expansion. In the meantime, we're addressing feedback from our early access group and mapping out what we want to improve when the expansion launches. We're now expecting in Q4 of this year. Now, I'll be completely frank, I am actually quite surprised that this is being delayed. I was expecting to very soon be part of a launch campaign for this DLC, and so this has just been completely turned up on its head because of our feedback in the early access group. Now, I do think this is an overall net positive that they are delaying this DLC. It does need some polish and some changes and some listening to feedback from the early access creators. And I think what this is going to do is create a really well-polished first major expansion for City Skylines 2, something that City Skylines 1 didn't necessarily have. And while it does come with a delay and another 2 months to get the last piece of content that we are kind of owed from the Ultimate Edition, I think it's really great and awesome that they are listening to this feedback and wanting to make those changes to make the best DLC possible. Now, that being said, I do have a small concern, and that is the state of the asset editor. As we'll read through this next little bit, which is some exciting free content that's coming out still, as they're not delaying the free content update that's coming, thankfully. But I am a little concerned about the state of the asset editor. Nowhere in here do they mention. It does seem like this is I wouldn't say last minute decision to delay the DLC, but it does seem a little abrupt, at least from my perspective, even in the early access group. So they probably aren't ready to say anything about the asset editor or the console edition of the game, even though that is a different development team. That being said, I do wonder what a delay to Bridges and Ports will do to the development cycle of the asset editor. I don't know what development team members are still working on Bridges and Ports, will still be working on Bridges and Ports. Can you move those developers to the asset editor? Are the problems with the asset editor something that those developers can actually fix and work on? I'm not really too sure, but not receiving an update in this post about the state of the asset editor along with this does leave me just with a little bit of concern about potentially what kind of delay the asset editor could receive as a result of delaying this DLC. Now, they are pushing it back to Q4, which does kind of feel like a pretty long time from what I think that they're going to change with the DLC before it comes out. So maybe there's still hope in the back of my mind that Q3 of this year will maybe see an asset editor, but I genuinely don't know. My hope was that with releasing this DLC, 100% of the development focus could go to the asset editor, because I think that's really going to open the floodgates of this game for people. I know a lot of people have been really enjoying City Skylines 2, and it has been coming on the upswing as of late. That being said, I want to see it continue go on that upswing. I want to see people continue to enjoy the game and find new love with it. And I think the asset editor is genuinely the best way to do that, so I'm really hopeful that this doesn't negatively impact the editor. So in short, delaying Bridges and Ports is a very good thing, and I think will make for a significantly better DLC that is a lot more polished and filled with the features that you actually kind of want, or things that you expect things to do, with the caveat that I would love to hear a little bit more about the current state of the asset editor or any kind of potential release window for that, which I know they're not going to do a release window until they're like closer and feel really confident about the release date. But still, I have some concerns now, especially delaying this, what that will do to the asset editor's release. Now, enough about the negativity. There is a free update coming with this as well. That being said, this is still a beautiful expansion, and we're excited about what it will add to your city. We just want to ensure that it adds enough to meet your deservedly high expectations. The full patch notes for the free update will be shared on June 11th, together with the release of the patch. In the meantime, here's a sneak peek of the free assets included to enhance your waterfronts. So there will be a full new patch that is releasing on June 11th. This patch was supposed to coincide with the launch of Bridges and Ports. Now, let's just say it does add some things that are highly requested and wanted from the previous game especially. So first off, there's going to be 2 new bridges, including Combination Bridge, a 4-lane highway, double train track, double-decked, extra-dosed bridge. I don't know what extra-dosed means, but a combo bridge that combines the highway with the train system. I'm really excited. Some really cool bridge is being added as part of a free update and rather the whole DLC expansion. And there's also going to be a double train track truss arch bridge, which will be really pretty. Next up, there's going to be 3 leisure piers. Piers are shoreline/harbor assets created using the net tools. You draw them just like you would fences or roads. They are divided into leisure and industrial piers. Finally, there's going to be 3 keys. Keys are a way to beautify the city skyline's shoreline. Keys can be updated with trees, and piers can connect to them. Container cranes can be placed over the cargo port keys that is designed to be wider than a normal key to work with the reach stackers. Keys work similarly to other roads in buildings that can be snapped to them when the zoning grid is visible. So you can snap them to buildings, and they can work with a container crane as well. Now, I'm not sure if this container crane they're referring to is referring to the vanilla cargo harbor, or if they're referring to something from the ports DLC with this. I'm not sure if this just snuck its way in and wasn't like, checked, if it was just copy and pasted from the potential future update with the DLC. Not really too sure what's going on there. But that being said, yeah, we're going to get keys, we're going to get piers, and we're going to get 2 new bridges added to the base game, as well as probably some bug fixes and improvements. So yeah, final thoughts from me. I think the free update is great. I think delaying the DLC is what's best for the DLC. And my really only concern is, what about the asset editor? Is delaying this going to affect the development of that? Because to me, I really feel like the asset editor is the #1 priority. And I know people have paid for Bridges and Ports, but again, that thing's going to really open the floodgates for what's truly possible in City Skylines. And I want to make sure, at least from my perspective, it feels like that should be priority #1. So my hope is that in delaying this, we'll get the asset editor and then get this DLC. But since they said nothing about the asset editor, we'll just have to wait and see. Anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts and comments down in the description. If you guys haven't taken a look at my early access Anno 11.7 video, I'll put it up in the annotations right now, or on the end panel at the end of the video. Anyways, I'll let you guys get on with your day. I've been Kodiak the Kodiak, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.